What's up, guys? Thought it would be fun if we just started like kind of constructing how I made some of the songs off the album. I figured I'd start with Paper Boats. It's been the one that's been probably the biggest hit with you guys. It's one of my favorites, one of my favorite beats that I've made. Just, I guess to start this off, it is inspired by an old Kanye song that was kind of scrapped. It was from the Yeezus-era. It was called I Feel Like That. I'll play it right now. But my version of the song is better because I'm not an anti-Semitic piece of shit now. So anyway, let's jump right into it. So to make this beat, I literally just YouTubed to MP3'd the I Feel Like That song. The sample plays out at the beginning, which I did the exact same thing here. I put some additional effects on there, and then from that initial sample at the beginning, there was no isolated version of the chop, so I had to chop it myself. From there, I added these little like sub impacts at the same exact spot in particular. I also included this little riser. It pans from one side to the other as it gets louder. This one's a little piano from Keyscape. Right here, I've got another, I think this is another Serum instrument. Yeah, I've got a little, this one's a preset that I got from somewhere else. I don't remember where. But just a nice little lead. That's it by itself. Kind of buried in the mix, but I like it to be really subtle because I feel like it kind of teases the strings that come in on the second half of the song. I've got one more riser that also does some panning here. Right after that, some arpeggios come in. This is at the chorus section of the song. I also have another little Sierra, or this one's an Omnisphere set actually. So this preset in Omnisphere is called Humming Men. But I threw a FL Studio default plugin on here called Gross Beat. It's really a cheat code. It makes it sound all stuttery. Without Gross Beat on there, it sounds like this. Bass is fucking huge. It's from a plugin called Trillion or Spectrasonics, so it is the same company who made Omnisphere, Keyscape. So I've got a lot of their instruments on this song. By itself, it sounds like this. But I've gone in and I have added Isotope Trash on here. This is one of my favorite distortion plugins. The delay that's on here, there is no actual real delay. It just kind of makes it wider in the mix. I've got some EQ on here, not too much. That's how I made the absolutely disgusting fat bass sound on this song. The drums, there's a main drum sample that I pulled from Splice. I'm sorry, please don't kill me, but it sounds like this. And then I also layered some drums on top of it. Here's those by themselves. This snare sound individually, this is from an S1 sample pack. S1 is a producer who worked with Kanye a lot, especially during the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasies and Yeezus-era. So I took all of that. You layer those on top of each other. The little fill that you hear halfway through the chorus section is a little loop that I made using that same exact snare. By taking the envelope, I allowed it to be more like an instrument in not a one shot. And so that allowed me to make this little fill pattern here. More Isotope Trash, and then there's some panning going on here with the velocity changing as well. all together. The second verse is more of the same. Drum loop. The biggest difference, besides those drums, is definitely going to be my favorite part of the song, which is these strings. My friend Zoe came in and helped me out with them. And by help me out, I mean did everything. I didn't have any idea. I just knew I wanted strings, and I didn't know what else I wanted. Zoe comes in. We took like 4 or 5 takes. It's just like some ideas. And I took that and made a whole orchestra. It starts off with just one main take. And for every normal take that there is, I've duplicated that, pitched it down an octave, and messed with the volume. So you have the nice warmness, but they come in at varying volumes. So when it actually gets to the chorus section with the strings, I've got a few isolated takes here that build up right when the chords and everything up here in the bass drop out, and it's just the drums by themselves. A bunch of those takes are then cut out, and then right when the bass and chords come back in, that's when all of the strings come back in as well. And to really accentuate all of the swelling that Zoe was doing in the actual performance on the instrument, I accentuated that by increasing and decreasing the volume with some automation here. So whenever the volume increases, that's when Zoe was naturally doing some swelling with the instrumentation. Volume up, volume slowly back down, volume coming back up again. And to coincide with that, every time that the volume is increasing, I also did some panning or stereo separation rather, automation simultaneously. So every time that the volume is actually getting louder with the strings, the panning is also widening out, so that it sounds really huge, especially in headphones and things like that. More of just an illusion. After that, I took that this entire string section, exported it, and I have this whole ordeal pitched down an octave for some additional warmth. And it's also EQ'd a bunch, so you don't get as much of the high end. It is strictly here for warmth. And I'll make sure the love they receive is sincere about the Lego sets that I didn't get, and I'll make sure they never know neglect. There were some little hiccups here in some of the takes that I decided to leave in, like Zoe's laughing. That's not even the right thing. And from there, I mean, that's most of the song. The only other thing that I really added here was just a prayer.
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Give us this day our daily bread.
This was one of my favorite songs to record, songs to produce, and I had a lot of fun with it. Thank you, Zoe, so much for coming in and recording for me, and thank you guys for listening.